Hi guys, it's Reagan and welcome to the start of another reading vlog. I am in the midst of watching a K-drama, but it is currently Monday evening. I've wrapped up work. It's about almost 7 o'clock, but I wanted to do a reading vlog for my reading for this week because I'm starting 2 books that I'm really looking forward to picking up. I'm hoping both of them are new all-time faves. So I wanted to document the process. Given that it's a work week, I'll also be, you know, working and just doing my general relaxation with K-dramas, cooking, and all of those types of things. But without further ado, let's go ahead and chat about the books I hope to read over the course of this week. Hello, Matilda. But as I said, I have 2 books I want to read. Both are very different from each other. The first is A Memory Called Empire by Arkady Martin. This is like a space opera murder mystery thriller. It basically follows our main character who is a ambassador and she's basically taking over at a new post. When she arrives, the previous person who worked it has died in very mysterious circumstances. I'm hoping this is a page turner and just like super intense. I really loved Gideon the Ninth, which kind of was also like a thriller, like murder mystery in space. So I'm really hoping this has a vibe similar to that, but like also its own sort of thing. So this is the first book I'm gonna pick up and start tonight and just try to read as much as I can. And then I also want to start The Library of Legends by Janny Chang. This is a historical fiction novel about a woman and some of her colleagues basically traveling hundreds of miles to flee their university, but they're also transporting precious books and a bunch of stuff kind of happens along the way. I hear this is just beautiful and kind of magical, and I've just heard really good things and I've gotten some really positive comments from you guys about this book, so I've been really dying to pick this up as well. But these are the 2 books I hope to read over the next 4 days. As I sort of mentioned in my last vlog, my attention span has just been like this much. And so I'm working to try to not have that short of an attention span. And I really want to try to read as much as I can I always say that, but I really mean it. Like every time I especially start vlogging, I feel like it kind of motivates me to stop watching K-dramas and actually pick up a book. But yeah, welcome to the start of this vlog. Really looking forward to these 2 books. And yeah, happy Monday. Also, I'm in the middle of like 7 dramas at this point, but I started this one yesterday because I just wanted something really light and fluffy because I've been watching shows that have a really big dramatic component, and when like the 7th and 8th episode rolls around, I get really stressed and start a new one. Like it's just been a really bad habit. This is called She Was Pretty and it has Park Seo-joon in it, and it's really funny and goofy, like office romance, and I'm a sucker for those, and so is Matilda. So that's what I'm watching right now. I honestly can't stop. I'm very addicted to it, but I do plan to read a bunch, so hear me now. I declare it so. I have banned myself, there's Clay, from that drama. Banned. We're done until at least tomorrow and until I've read a significant amount of pages, but it is dinner time and I'm gonna watch 1 episode of the show Clay and I are watching together, and then I'm reading for the rest of the night. It's gotta happen. But we're keeping it simple tonight with some Trader Joe's orange chicken, always a crowd pleaser. I have some broccoli in the fridge, make some rice, should be good. So that is what we're making. We also just need to go to the grocery store, to be honest, so let's put this together. All right, dinner is all set. It's one of those great dinners where you just kind of leave everything to do its thing. And now I'm gonna watch half an episode of Vincenzo. So, you know, wait till dinner's done, eat dinner, and then reading. It's dinner and a Vincenzo. I practiced that. I'm not gonna pretend like I didn't. I even workshopped it with Clay. Anyway, we're on episode 5. All right, TV watching is over and I am now in bed for the night to read. My phone is going far away. TikTok cannot entice me. But the first book I'm going to be starting for this vlog is A Memory Called Empire. Given that I feel like it's going to have kind of, again, a thriller element to it, I'm hoping it'll be paced really quickly and I'll be able to fly through it. It's just over 400 pages, or maybe like 450, 430-ish pages. So it's definitely longer, but it's not so long where I don't feel like I'll be able to successfully complete it over the course of the couple of days. So I'm gonna sit down now, but I vow here on this camera, tomorrow and Wednesday will be my days. I will be more successful. Park Si-joon kind of ruined my reading momentum for today, but no more. Good morning, everyone. I'm up in Adam. It's like 7. Let me flip you around. So I look a hot mess, but I just woke up. I'm trying to make my morning routine better. I used to be good at a morning routine, but I've fallen off the wagon. So I'm trying to get back on the wagon of waking up like a nice 2+ hours before I need to really do anything and read, relax, watch TikTok videos if I want, but mostly I'm trying to read more in the morning again, which is how I'm spending this morning. But just a quick check-in, and I'll do a more in-depth kind of review a little later this morning after I have woken up a bit, but I did read about 90 pages of A Memory Called Empire last night. And initially I was so confused when I picked this book up, and again, I'll talk more about it later, but I'm really intrigued by this book. Like, it is just so immersive, and so that makes it very confusing in the beginning, but once you sort of begin to kind of figure out what's going on, you can't help but be fascinated by just like the world and the politics and stuff. So anyway, I'm gonna sit down now, drink my coffee, read more, and then I'll do a check-in in a bit. But hello, it's Tuesday. Hi friends. So I am dressed, I'm laundered, and I need to start aspects of my day, but I first and foremost need to talk about A Memory Called Empire, because I've actually read 140 pages of this book, and honestly, I can't put it down. Like, I haven't had a book hook me so quickly in a while, like a long while. To be honest, like the first 30 pages, I was a little concerned because I was so confused. Just a lot of new language and getting oriented. It was just like a lot all at once. But kind of once you get a little bit situated, I don't know, I just fell into the story so quickly, and I'm just fascinated by it, and the pacing is just so wild as well. But enough rambling, let's talk about what this book is actually about. So in this story, we follow our main character, Mihit, and she is from like a small, remote grouping of space stations that specialize in mining, and they are independent and they're really proud of that. And in this space area, there is like one central really powerful body called the Empire, and they are colonizers. They're constantly spreading their influence throughout space, and they keep their power really centralized on one specific planet. And also being like a full citizen of this planet is really hard. Like, you essentially have to be born there, and there's just like a bunch of rules and all of that. Mihit at the beginning of the story is an ambassador, and this has actually been a big dream of hers. Growing up on this small isolated station, she's always been really fascinated by the Empire's culture. It's really distinct, and I think that's one of the things I really enjoy about sci-fi, is that these different interplanetary like cultures are so cool to learn about. Particularly the Empire is like really into poetry, so like poems and epics and like cadence of speech is like very important to everything that they do, and how they also like transfer information. She becomes an ambassador, she transfers there, and she's really looking forward to it. There's a piece of technology that is specific and also proprietary to her homeland, which is essentially what they're able to do is upload and transpose like memories and experiences, and this is something all people kind of experience where she's from, in different roles and occupations, and you kind of become integrated with a past person and you kind of become a new person. So she leaves her planet with the memories of the previous ambassador, but it's 15 years out of date, so he only has about 5 years experience, and he has like a very distinct and specific personality. When she arrives to the Empire, she quickly realizes that her predecessor and the person who has her memories from 15 years current, like the current version of him, is dead, and she doesn't know why. No one wants to admit it's murder, and she's quickly thrown into like a large political conspiracy This book is so interesting for so many ways. One, as I kind of already spoke to, the culture and just kind of learning about the world as you go is so cool. You really love the main character, Mahit. She is really clever and smart, but also like obviously thrown in a really tricky situation, and just trying to quickly figure out what's going on, not only trying to solve this mystery, but also survive herself. You also quickly realize that there is larger things at play here, like larger political consequences that have nothing to do with Mahit at all, but she's like at the center of it now. And the component of her having the memories of her predecessor is really important because he seemed to have been involved in and with some really powerful people. But again, those memories are out of date, so that perspective that she has in her brain of this person and that literal person in her brain is out of date. But there are people that are expecting her to kind of know and be privy to things that she has no idea about. There's other characters too. I don't know, just again, I've only read 140 pages and I just feel like so much has happened so quickly and I just feel completely swept up in this story. It sounds really complicated, in a lot of ways it is, but like the complicated nature of it is what makes it so good. It's intensely political and a bit confusing, but that's kind of on purpose because again, once you get rooted, you're still following a main character that also is kind of thrown into a situation where she has no idea what's going on. So like you're just trying to play catch up left and right. But yes, I've read 140 pages. I still have so many questions. I feel like so many things are still continuing to happen. But so far I'm just loving it, like loving learning about it, loving the characters, loving the murder mystery component. It just has so many things that I am enjoying and it just feels great. Like I really don't want to put this down. I feel like this is a book I could read in one day just based on the pacing itself. Definitely going to be reading much more of this today. I actually feel very strongly I'll be able to finish this in 2 days, which I haven't felt that way in a while. But yeah, I am loving A Memory Called Empire so far. It really just has a lot of components that I personally really enjoy. I love hyper political thrillers, and the fact that this is like also like a whole new culture, a whole new place is just really cool. What can I say? It's lunchtime. I have been addicted to making these Japanese egg salad sandwiches. Like, cannot stop making them. I have made a few alterations by adding some relish and some paprika, but I have all the other stuff: Kewpie mayo, sugar, milk. I'll leave a recipe down below that I've been using, but they basically taste like, to me, a deviled egg sandwich, and they're just delicious. Key to get milk bread if you can find it, or just some fluffy bread, but truly I can't stop eating them. So it's actually super easy. Peel your hard-boiled eggs, separate your yolks from the whites, chop up the whites, and then in a bowl combine the Kewpie mayo, the sugar, the bit of milk, salt with the yolks. Again, I added some relish and paprika, but that is not part of the original recipe. And then I'm just gonna throw these in there and mix and plop on some bread, and it's done. And I'm telling you, it's so good. I cut the crust off because I'm extra, but look at her. Look at her. Also, this is my outfit for the day. Spring is here. It's a beautiful day. Matilda's enjoying her sun. Enjoying her little windowsill. Aren't you, Millie? Anyway, sorry, my voice is annoying. But just thought I'd let you know what's up. Hello, I am back with another reading update. It is now the evening. I have read to about page 190 of this book. I feel like for like a complex book, I'm reading this really quickly. And what I mean by complex is I feel like I'm reading everything carefully because everything almost feels coded. But oh my goodness, I feel like it's just been a minute since I've just been so invested and interested in a story like this. And it feels really good. But I read 190 pages. I'm going on and on about this book, but more things I just think are just so interesting. As I said, this book is really hyper political. There are so many players, and in a way it's like almost overwhelming, and we feel that sense of being overwhelmed from our main character because we don't really know who is directly involved and what it is they want. And it's not just on this planet of this empire, but also even there are some connections to our main character Mahit's home of that station. Like, there just seems to be a lot of people involved with their own distinct political interests. and they're trying to make those interests known. And it's not just like small fry things, it's like escalating to war and further conquest. And there's also a possible outside threat involved too. There's just a lot of power at play is what I'm trying to say. There's also seemingly quite a bit of unrest on this planet as well. There's just like a few sketchy things that happen behind the scenes. For one, the city almost seems to be alive. To be a citizen, you're also like plugged into the city, so it seems like you're monitored in some way at all times. And there are demonstrations. There's also like bombs that are going off in the city, and in general, people are not happy. Or there are groups of people in the city that are not happy, but it's again not clear totally why and like what their overall interests are. There's also a bit of a succession crisis. Like what I'm trying to articulate is just there seems to be so many issues and so many different people like with their hand in like the power pot that it again just becomes very murky about like what is going on, and trying to figure out what's going on with our main character just makes this book so fascinating. Not to mention the world and the politics are just super interesting. And amongst all of that, it also appears the previous ambassador was heavily involved in everything and is very much at the center, and there are interactions that our main character has with people that they feel like she should know stuff or should be more influenced by the previous ambassador than she currently is. And again, that kind of goes back to that technology where they can have memories living in their brain, but due to a variety of circumstances, hers is out of date and also kind of not working very well. So there's just so much going on. It's a complicated book, but it's just pulling me in. It's a murder mystery. It's a political thriller. Like there's just, I am so interested and I really can't stop reading it. It also has like great humor. The main character is amazing. Like she's really capable and like she's trying to do her best to one, stay alive and also discern what's going on, and it just makes everything so cool. But anyway, I'm almost at the 50% mark of this book already. It's about 440 pages, I want to say. I feel like I'm going to be able to finish it by tomorrow. I'm definitely going to read more tonight and then continue reading it, but it's definitely caught my attention. I'm a big fan. It just feels good. I feel like this might be a new phase. It's all about how it continues to escalate and wrap up, but there's just like so much going on and I feel so overwhelmed in like the best way possible. You know? You know. Clay convinced me to go enjoy the nice weather and get some tacos. So that's what we're gonna do for dinner tonight.
It's Tuesday.
Oh, it is. Anyway, I put a cardigan on and she's ready to go out into the world. We're back from dinner. I didn't vlog because it honestly was not a very good dinner, but unfortunately it was a bit of a fail. But I've convinced Clay to watch some BTS variety show shenanigans before we watch Vincenzo, which is exciting. Back on our Vincenzo watch game. We only watched a little bit of episode 5 yesterday, so we're gonna try to finish it up today, but we always pause and talk for a long time while we're watching K-dramas, so it always takes us like 2 hours to watch 1 hour of content approximately, but we're starting now. Alrighty, Vincenzo episode 5 has been watched. It's so good. Just the vibe of the show is so good. Like the concept is like only bad people can defeat bad people. So there's just a lot of chaos, the acting. I love it. But now I am gonna go back to reading A Memory Called Empire. I've already read a good amount of this in the past 24 hours. My hope is to get over the 200 page mark tonight, and then obviously just try to wrap up the whole thing tomorrow and then move on to my second book of the vlog. But good night, and I will see you all in the morning. Hello world, I'm up, I'm dressed, I have my Eggo waffle as you saw, love it, and a cup of coffee. I'm here this morning to start my day actually doing some day planning, getting my to-do list in order. I have kind of been a bit chaotic the past couple days in terms of just mentally keeping track of my to-do list, which I personally don't love. So we're gonna fix that and do some organizing of my life. I also read 250 pages of A Memory Called Empire last night. I got to page 250, so I'm gonna continue reading today. I'll keep you guys updated, but for now, It's time to plan. I've already changed out of my cute dress because I started just dusting everything in my life, but it's time for a late lunch now, and I'm making another egg salad sandwich because I can't stop eating these sandwiches. I've eaten, this is probably like my 5th one in the past 10 days. Like, I can't stop. But anyway, I'm gonna put this together now. She is beauty. She is grace. This egg sandwich is the love of my life. A very necessary post-lunch coffee. Also, I wanted to shout out my Bloomin' Fleurs. I love peony season. It's truly just a time. My dream is to have peonies in my backyard one day, but for now, this will suffice. I'm also doing laundry, trying to be productive, ignore that giant book stack, but I've got to get back to it over there. But for now, coffee. I look a bit of a hot mess. I was really liking my outfit earlier today, but then I scrubbed my floors, you know, and I just didn't want to get floor residue all over my nice dress. But I have also finished my workday, which is really nice, and I wanted to do a reading check-in because between last night and a little bit of reading this morning, and a little bit of reading after work, I've gotten to page 300 of this book, and I am continuing to love it so much. I have to start being vague because obviously this is a thriller, and it's just keeping my attention so thoroughly. Like, the pacing of this book has been absolutely wild from page 1. You're literally thrown in what feels like one of the biggest political messes. There's literally no instruction manual. In fact, the instruction manual has short-circuited. There is civil unrest on this planet. There's a possible civil war about to break out, possibly. That being said, I am really liking, obviously, our main character Mahit, which I've spoken quite a bit about, but there's also 2 side characters, 12 Azalea and 3 Seagrass. It makes sense if you read it, but that is their names, 12 Azalea and 3 Seagrass. But I really like them. And what's interesting though is, as much as you like them, they still kind of give you anxiety because you hope that Mahit can trust them, but at the same time, there's a likely chance that they're connected to another powerful player, or they have their own interests, or they could be manipulating her. Like, we don't know. So as much as we want to trust them and Mahit wants to trust them, there's always that level of anxiety. Again, the pacing of this book is wild. Everything I've read so far has taken over the course of 4 days. It's just like, things really go down right when she arrives on this planet. And I'm just really liking it. It's just intricate. The world is so unique, and just kind of trying to understand what's going on I find to be really satisfying. It's definitely a puzzle of a book, and I would say like the writing and the world is complicated, at least to me. So I wouldn't say it's like an easy read by any means, but it's a really satisfying one. Like, I often feel like I'm like rereading stuff and like going over conversations again. There's just so many hidden meanings and things, it feels like, which again kind of speaks to the culture of this planet, because they're all about poetry and stuff, so everything has so many layers to it. But it's just such a good book, and I'm really liking it, and I feel like it's been a minute since I've just been so invested in a story and not want to put it down. But I wanted to give you an update and just some more thoughts and feelings. I'm gonna try to read as much as this as I can tonight, and finish it, because I do want to start my other book on my TBR, which I'm also really looking forward to picking up. But I've read 300 pages so far for this vlog, which I feel like is pretty solid, and I definitely am gonna read more today. And yeah, but now I'm gonna go play my Oculus. I'm gonna go play a video game break, but just wanted to say hello and give you a reading check-in. It's time to play some Oculus. This is my audience, my captive audience, especially Matilda. I'm gonna play this new racket game Monica was telling me about, so we'll see. LOL, I think my headband on my VR, Clay's playing, was a little too tight. Whoops. Alrighty folks, Clay is doing that, but I'm about to start dinner. I'm making a quick pasta meal, which is really good, and I'm using half whole wheat pasta, half zoodles. It's really just a burst tomato sauce. I'm chopping up some garlic. I'm gonna add some basil, and I'm defrosting some shrimp over there, and I'm gonna add some spices to this, and it should be good. And then we're gonna go watch K-dramas. This is one of my favorite go-to dinners because it's so easy and it kind of tastes fancy, but it's like low effort and really quick. Basically, you just put a bunch of cherry tomatoes and olive oil and cook them down until they burst, and it makes a sauce. I just season it with salt and pepper and a little bit of sugar, actually. Once these burst, I throw the shrimp in there, cook them. I also throw in the zoodles, let those cook down, and then just combine the pasta. Throw some fresh basil in and mix her up, and it's all done. It's really tasty for summer too. And this sort of burst tomato sauce tastes good with like other just veggies like corn. You can make like a really tasty warm salad. Anyway, there you go. Also, it's pretty to look at. Doesn't that look delicious? Added my shrimp and my zoodles, which I'm gonna cook down. Zoodles are purely to sneak extra vegetables into this meal. I'm gonna add some lemon as well, some Parmesan. I also added some red pepper flakes for a spice. Stir in the pasta, some fresh basil, top with some Parmesan. And you've got a perfect meal to watch Vincenzo with. At least that's what we got here. Vincenzo, Matilda, popcorn, M&Ms.
The Golden Gate Bridge.
All right, folks, it's time to read Vincenzo is over, which it's so good. But I'm actually gonna set up this thing, which I'm really excited about. I bought myself, move my retainer out of the shot. I like an alarm clock, but I bought this. Instagram advertising worked on me. I'm basically trying to find like a sleeping situation that will give me my rain sounds, will wake me up in the morning peacefully, and I can not have my phone in the bedroom anymore because I just spend too much time on my phone in the morning and at night, and I'm trying to stop doing that basically. So I bought this thing. It's called the Hatch Restore. So this is not sponsored. I just bought it. It came in. So I'm gonna set it up and we'll see how it goes. Alrighty, my new alarm clock. You can't even see it. It's set up. I have the reading light on for the next hour, so I better get to reading so I can get a good night's sleep. I have my book. My phone is charging across the room. Wish me luck on my hopefully not waking up at a reasonable hour, which I do, but then I sit on like TikTok for like 2 hours in the morning instead of just like getting up and starting my day. Like I'll wake up at like 7 and then I'll just sit on TikTok till like work hours. I'm like, what am I doing? So I'm trying to fix that. I'm rambling. Anyway, I'm gonna read now Memory Called Empire. Let's go. Good morning, everyone. Up and Adam. First morning, no phone. I feel great. She's up. She's dressed, and I read to page 400 of my book last night, so I'm definitely gonna finish this today and then switch to my second book of this vlog. Productivity, am I right, people? Matilda is also quite busy. Just napping. Oh, sorry, did I wake you up? Anyway, happy Thursday. Treated myself to a fine bodega sandwich this afternoon, and I'm gonna sit down and finish A Memory Called Empire. I am so looking forward to see how this is gonna wrap up, though I do know there's another book in this series, so I feel like it's going to be intense. Let's just put it that way. And then I'm immediately going to also start reading The Library of Legends today as well. So, the plans. It's me. I am flushed, but I finished A Memory Called Empire at lunch. This book is 448 pages, and I've officially read the entire thing from beginning to end for this vlog. I really liked this book. I feel like it escalated so well, and in general I just feel like it really stayed true to its like overall vibe, which is heavy political, like not a lot of action. Like there's a lot of action kind of surrounding our main characters, but our main characters aren't like combatants. They're politicians, their ambassadors, so their arsenal or their tool set that they're using to like make it through the day is all like verbal, and it's very much like verbal maneuvering. Not to mention the society and like the culture of this planet really celebrates like poetry, and in general, like culturally speaking, they're very satisfied when like grand moments kind of happen, or when people are really, really clever, for example. So it all just kind of like fits in the vibe. That being said, oh my gosh, the plot of this book was just truly wild from beginning to end. I mean, I can't even believe how much happened over such a short period of time. I know there's another book that's coming out, and I'm very curious to see where the story is going to take off. But all in all, I just really liked this book. I mean, obviously the hyper-political situation was fascinating, but just the main character and just all the sci-fi elements too, from kind of learning and kind of being thrown in this new world, the technology component, it was just great. I feel like I've been kind of a broken record about this book, but truly really liked it from beginning to end, and I have since finished it, which also is very, very satisfying. I feel like I read this pretty quickly. Means I'm now going to pick up The Library of Legends by Jenny Chang. This is a historical fiction with, I think, a dash of fantasy, a bit of a different vibe, but I think also pretty intense. We basically follow our main character and her colleagues. In 1937, Japan is bombing this area of China, and they're fleeing their university to try to find a safe haven, but they're not just transporting themselves, they're also transporting this really old library of legends. They're trying to keep it safe. Along their journey, a bunch of stuff happens, from intrigue to possible romance, but I think some of the travelers begin to reflect some of the stories. At least that's what our main character kind of begins to notice. I've heard really good things about this. I have been loving historical fiction with sort of fantastical folklore, historical mythology elements kind of woven in, so I feel like I'm going to love this so much. And I also feel like I'm a bit on a roll because I loved Memory Called Empire. I'm looking forward to picking up something else I'm hoping I will enjoy very much. But I've already read almost 450 pages for this vlog. I will be picking this up tonight once I finish up work, because I do have to get back to work now that I finished lunch. But just wanted to say hello, wrap up a Memory Called Empire, and let you know I will be picking this guy up next. You ever just put a random episode of Naruto on? Cause vibes. Enjoying a drink and the nice, ooh, it's so sunny, spring weather. Sitting on the same side. There's our shadows, Clay. Time for some summer house, and I've decided to make pancakes for dinner because, I don't know, the ultimate comfort food. Add some chocolate chips. They're gonna be aces. Looking great. We're on to the last step, which is the dollop of Cool Whip, everyone. Time to eat. All right, back from enjoying a nice sunset. I'm here with Matilda. Clay and I are about to watch Vincenzo, but I did read a little bit of The Library of Legends, so I wanted to check in. I'm planning on reading even more tonight. But so far, I really like how this book has opened up. Just the writing style and just the overall quality to the writing itself has really drawn me in. And I just feel like I'm going to like it. It's lyrical and really beautiful so far. As I said, this is a historical fiction novel, and it honestly opens up pretty intensely with their main character, Leanne, essentially running, trying to find shelter as the Japanese are literally bombing where she is now. She's currently on her way to the train station to get from the current city she's at to Shanghai to meet her mother in Shanghai, who is also fleeing from another city. Honestly, I've only read about 30 pages, but the book itself opened up again rather explosively, but the writing style is also beautiful so far. I have a lot of this book to still encounter, and I'm obviously going to be reading it now. I'm also really curious to see how the journey continues to unfold, because while I think the destination remains the same, which is Shanghai, the route at which our main character is going to take, I think, dramatically changes throughout the story, so I'm definitely really intrigued by that. I personally love journey stories, so I feel like I'm gonna really enjoy this. I also feel like this is going to be a rather dark and intense novel, just based off of the historical setting itself, but definitely so far so good. I'm going to sit down and read more. For now, I did want to give you a bit of an update on what I have successfully read, and I've almost read 500 pages already, so woo. You guys already know, back watching Vincenzo. What episode are we on? We're on 7. pulling myself away from K-dramas. Not trying to zoom in though. Vincenzo is so good. It's just wild. It continuously one-ups itself. I can see why so many of you guys love that show. It's so hard not to watch. It also just has such a fun cast of characters. It's really intense. It's able to kind of balance drama with humor super well too. I don't know, so far it's been a blast. I'm officially starting my nighttime routine with my new alarm clock, and I'm gonna sit down and do more reading. As I already mentioned, I've read 30 pages, so I'm just gonna see how far I can get before ultimately falling asleep tonight. But I'll definitely update you guys in the morning. I'm gonna try to get to the 100-page mark at least, which I don't think will be too difficult, as I did fly through those first 30 pages. As I said, opened up rather intensely, so I'm gonna get to reading now. I'll check in later. Just wanted to say hello and also good night. Hi friends, and welcome to the end of the vlog. The next day, I just wanted to quickly pop in and wrap up everything I was able to read during the course of this work week, because I was able to actually complete over 500 pages, which to me is very exciting. I'm actually going to start with the Library of Legends, which I was obviously reading last night. I was able to actually read just over the 70-page mark, and so far I'm really enjoying this book. As I mentioned, it's a historical fiction novel. It opens up rather explosively, as I said, as our main character Huan Lian is traveling with her classmates on a 1,000-mile journey to save themselves and this Library of Legends. And so far I just love the writing, but there's just qualities to the story itself that have just really drawn me in. For one, our main character is just really likable, just a young girl, honestly just trying to, you know, go to school, get her education, but has a kind of a murky past that she has to hide, and elements of that are kind of beginning to be revealed on this journey, but the fantastical element as well is beginning to reveal itself. So everyone is a student of the classics at this university, and they're also working to try to save these classics. So they're kind of reading them and discussing them along the way to their kind of end point. But along the way to it, you seem to encounter individuals from these legends, and our main character is one of the rare individuals who can actually kind of see and sense the mythological, and there's even some people along the journey that might be connected to these myths as well, which is just so mesmerizing. And again, the writing is so good. It's just really drawn me in very quickly, and I really love that sort of combination of historical fiction and folklore and mythology. It's just so beautiful so far. It's reading really quickly because it's literally set in the middle of a war, as well as combining that with a journey aspect. Obviously they are students still trying to carry on with their studies, but it can't be ignored that they're also running for their lives, and they don't know when or how they're going to see their families again. So there's just a lot of different layers to the story that have really captured my attention immediately. The writing, the mythology component, I don't know, it's just so good so far, and I'm really looking forward to continue to read it over the course of this week. But the beginning of the book has definitely drawn me in right away, so I wanted to talk about that. And then obviously the book that was kind of the bulk of this vlog was A Memory Called Empire, which I really loved and talked about at length. And this book just combines so many fantastic elements, obviously, as I've been talking about, a political thriller element, kind of a murder mystery, but also just a really rootable main character that is kind of encountering a culture that she has loved and has spent her entire life learning about, but is also one that is not very welcoming either. So that is definitely a component of this. In culture, like being a part or being an outsider is definitely a very large aspect of the story as well. But yeah, I feel like this is a new fave of mine. I can't wait to pick up book 2 soon. But I was able to read over 500 pages. Alrighty guys, so I was able to read 510 pages, no, more than that. I was able to read about 520 pages over the course of this reading vlog. Hopefully you guys enjoyed, and I will see you soon with another one soon. Bye.